Okay, you're live now. Miss, can you go on your phone real quick? Oh, wait, I'll go on my phone and see if you can hear. There's no one on there. There's no one yet.
Oh.
It tells you when someone's in there. There's no one yet.
Hello, everyone. If you're listening, we're trying to get this situation right. Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
We'll give everybody a chance to maybe tap in to What's Your Story. I'm your host, Malik Spellman. If you don't mind, tap in, give you a few seconds if you're interested in listening. Got an interesting topic tonight, and all comments are welcome. Subscribe. Thank you. I went from 5 subscribers to 59. Balling. So tap in because it's going to be some interesting dialogue. I just want to get your opinion on some things too. Perhaps I'll be able to learn how to make some comments or read some comments on it. I'll get my assistant to help me. But for the most part, we're going to talk about empowering the Black man and the family as opposed to other ideologies that we've heard in the past. So it's gonna be a little turbulence along the way because everybody don't agree to the same ideologies and perspectives. We're gonna try our best to be respectful tonight. You know, happy holidays to all those out there that's celebrating Christmas, and sorry about that, Thanksgiving, because I'm not really a subscriber of these holidays, but I do participate. Anyhow, here's the subject. A few more seconds here. I got one person in. Perhaps I'll have 3. And we're good to go here. So let me see something. Welcome to What's Your Story. I'm your host, Malik Spellman. And of course, you know, our story is about other people's experiences and struggles in life and the things that they deal with from their perspective, from their mouth. Not necessarily from me, but from the people who have experienced it. And some of the things, if not all the things that I'll be discussing, is based on a true story. You know, all the people that I've seen and dealt with. Shout out to my boy Caffeine. A couple other little Black Jesus, you know, a couple other people that I've seen tonight that work out in Hollywood. Shout out to y'all. You know, I look forward to having y'all on my show in the very near future. But I want to discuss something that's important, and that is the restoration of the Black man's confidence in our society. Meaning, we see a lot of references today to crime and stuff like that, and it oftentimes look like it pertains strictly to us, contingent upon the fact that, you know, we're the least likely to be educated, the least likely to have a degree of, or should I say, a path of direction that's going to take us where we need to go. And I look at the world today and the conditions that it's in. And I'm not saying this because I'm Black, because as I always say, Black is not a people, it's a condition. But I look at the crime and I look at the school system, and I look at all these different perspectives that are taking place in our society. And I'm like, when is there going to be a real conversation about the repatriation in American society of Black men? Because the Black man, as I was taught, and that means any man, but I have to speak for one that I'm more familiar with first, is the foundation of his family, like the sun is the foundation of the universe. And if the sun don't give off that light in order to make things grow, then what purpose is the earth without the sun? What purpose is a family without the father? For example, the court systems. When you sentence somebody to prison for any crime, whether it be a day or in the cases of Los Angeles, California, it's 40, 50, 60 years. So this child is being reared in such a direction to where he has no one to look up to. And I know you guys say, oh man, everybody say we didn't have a daddy, you know, we could have did better. I didn't have a father. Well, obviously we're not talking to you. That's the first thing. So let's know your audience, and you're not the audience that I'm looking for. But my point is, when you sentence a man to a lengthy sentence, and this child is 6 months old, and he gets out when the child is 30. Where's the connection? And what gives you the right to dismantle families like that? And then that child grows up to become the head of household amongst his mother, while trying to be reared by his mother and being raised by the neighborhood. So he has to make a decision with a bad curriculum in the school system that's really not interested in him. Remember, they put our kids on Ritalin in the 80s and 90s. And then a lot of the curriculums went towards educating and enlightening other people. But at what point do you say to yourself, like, yo, man, if I get this dude 50 years, I sentence the family? Like, only thing you see in the courtroom, like Cube says, your grandma sitting in the front row with a Bible. So there's really no parity when it comes to how one can conduct himself in regards to making money for his family when you live in an impoverished community that no one knows any way out. And again, we're going to hear people say, well, go to school, do this, get your own education. That's fine. But the education you get yourself is never as valuable as the education that someone can give you, or vice versa. The education that you give yourself is more valuable than the education that Harvard can hand to you. Because the techniques that you're utilizing to survive in the streets don't necessarily fit on Wall Street per se. It can be applied. But then those that are on Wall Street don't have the ability to function outside of that parameter of thinking. But again, until these elected officials that are new on the scene address the issue of empowerment of our Black youth first and foremost, because we should never give up on them, because giving up on them is like giving up on the future. That's why I keep a line of communication with young people, and especially my son, and my stepsons as well, because they are that fountain of youth. But we got to be able to grab a whole generation of youth that have been subjected to adult issues. The average young person today, they got light, rent, gas, phone bill, internet, clothes, Starbucks. It's not like when I was growing up when you just needed a few dollars in your pocket as an allowance. Now they're living like adults. So you tell them to go get a job, then they go apply to local Burger King or something, McDonald's, and then it's all adults working there. So, how do you get that training? How do you get that experience? How do you get that opportunity to blossom into a full human being when they're telling you as a child to go get an after-school job, which, by the way, pays really good now, the fast food industry, but get all adults, and I've yet to see a child in a fast food place or someone that rightfully should be there. So they're subjecting these kids to other ideologies and perspectives, but yet they're not living up to their expectations at spreading the wealth that's here. Remember, we're not in an impoverished community. We're not in a fifth world community. We're in the wealthiest state in the United States of America, called California, the Khalifa, to where if we was to separate from the other 51 states, we would be the fourth richest country on the planet if we was considered a country. But I'm trying to figure out at what point our concerns are going to go to getting the proper training for young people, like with the crisis, the city hall and all, should I say, the shitty hall. And you had the labor leader of the labor union, and he's empowering a certain race of people and he's empowering a certain class of people, but yet he's overlooking your people. So they wonder why kids are busting windows in Beverly Hills, because when you give up hope, you turn to dope. And dope is not necessarily a substance that you abuse. It can be a condition. It can be poverty. It could be, the lack of respect and guidance, because it takes you a long time to grow up, especially as a Black man. It took me 50 plus years to become an adult, because my childhood took the escalator and my adulthood took the stairs. That's a human oxymoron within its own right. So the conditions of our people, they're kind of strange right now. But at the end of the day, we've endured much worse. But when you look around and you try to prognosticate what the future is going to look like, and then you turn around and you see human beings eating out the trash and walking in front of cars, the whole kit and caboodle of foolishness and deprivation. That's just not humanly possible, some of the stuff that I see on the streets. And of course, I can get up here and talk about all kinds of celebrities. We'll get to that. But you can best believe if I'm talking about them, it's going to be based on the conversations that I had about trying to empower other human beings. Because my philosophy used to be, I don't have to care. But then the old philosophy was everybody's just a paycheck away from being one of those people. And if you're that insensitive and you're that immoral and your moral compass is stuck between 14 degrees above and 14 degrees below the equator, and you're magnetically stuck in one position, then that's on you. But we're going to be talking about this real on here. We're just going to say it in a different way. We have different concerns because us assisting in anything else outside of what we see every day that pertains to us, directly to us, is like putting on clean clothes without washing your ass. We got to get to the roots of this situation. Like we got to the roots of civilization with people when we taught math and science and the whole STEM package to the world: science, technology, education, mathematics. So what are we doing that's incorrect in our world and our mind? I'm not asking you to go out there and save the world. I'm just saying take a look at it. You know, do what's up with the do the what's up thing that you're supposed to do. You know, shout out to my partners, you know, the Think Twice podcast. You know, I see y'all out there, baby. My twins out there in the town. You know, New Orleans finest living out there in Texas. You know, we just really trying to pipe because, you know, we got a lot of sucker stuff we can go talk about. But I got a lot of game, a whole lot of it. But what about the fundamentals of what we dealing with? What about the fundamentals of our crises as a human being? Why is it that all black men don't have passports and only 7% of black people travel around the world, maybe 16% if on a good day? Why is it that you choose to use your child support system to keep black men from getting passports? Do you want to just own the slave? Why you got us with felonies at 12 years old, but some of these other communities, their sons get guns at 12 years old? That's a tradition. When you're outside of being black, you get a 22 caliber gun to go out and hunt rabbits when you're 12 years old. That's traditional. It's expected. But the little rice boy that had the fake gun, police jumped out and killed him, and it was a water gun. So we can't just sit back and just like, yo, man, that ain't got nothing to do with us, but these celebrities do. Celebrities is paid. They stay in gated communities. You stay in a gated community too, except they call it prison. That's the difference. You eat garbage. They feed them what you're supposed to eat because you're a king. But you're so humble, you'll let them do it because God knows best. But what are we going to do about our youngsters, man, about getting them into construction and fiber optics, and, you know, because they're genius. And a lot of people talk to me all the time, man, why you hold up young people? Because I was young at one time. Stupid, and I still am. I'm just 1,000 years old. But enough is enough, man. And some of you parents, you know, I don't know. You know, I can't knock you, but I can't open the door neither. Because once you shut down that line of communication with your children, then you shut down the line of communication for the future. So why are you not participating in your children's life outside of a hookah and a blunt? I like to smoke weed too, like everybody else. But what kind of wisdom are you giving them? Because when I was growing up in the streets, it was a saying, behind every weak-ass man or weird-ass man, there's some woman standing behind him telling him that he's great. So why we can't use them accolades to give to our babies? Why you can't tap into the hidden universities of America like What's Your Story and, you know, Think Twice podcast, where you can really get some jewels because we catching up to you. We're not in no rush to be seen of men and gin on the internet. We already did it in the radio, TV, and print. We've already done it. But I want to get back to these young people that I see, for example, in Chicago. 12 years old, run up in a laundromat, allegedly killing people. 9 people dead. At what point, poor people or black people in particular, are we going to say, man, we got to stand on top of this and not around it? We so concerned about what's coming on with the weaves and the eyelashes, and I get it, because once you give up hope, it's like, man, I'm gonna take any luxury I can get. I had a terrible life. But what about the babies? Babies don't even go outside. I told you once before, I asked my son when he was little, like, why are y'all bikes that I just bought is in the backyard rusty? He said, Dad, because they shooting outside. We can't ride them. So I wrote an article called Rusty Bikes. Why you don't see no children outside during this holiday season? Because all of us adult bullies have bullied them. And then we think we fly. Then we roll past the homeless all day like they're nobody. Then we get politicians to make promises to us, but yet I've never went to go get the promise fulfilled, but I've never seen it fulfilled either. So to me, it's like we have to take matters into our own hand. Look at the world today. And they blaming everything on you. But yet there's billions of dollars floating over your head all day. It's called the stock market, Wall Street. And every single day of your life, nothing from the financial institution seems to get to your door other than a bill. Because we're financially illiterate. We don't have that ability to absorb information like others or have the information shared. So everything we do is based on survival. And no, this is not the bad news bear show. No, I'm just saying, like, come on, man. We need some parity in Hollywood. We need some parity in education. We need some parity when it comes to our family structure. We need to have Senate bills that strictly deal with empowering Black men who participated in every aspect of American life so that they can be empowered. Not just empowerment zones where entrepreneurs come in or gentrifiers come in and open up a shoe store. No, we need a shoe manufacturing plant from you, Mr. Nike, who my friend Daoud and I and Mr. Tony Muhammad and several others really held y'all to the challenge long before these rappers and athletes. Look it up. We got the proof. We remember Nike had one donation. It was some shoes. And they had no Black employees, and they hired a Black lady. Because we were starting to burn them. Because I witnessed myself, and I told some of my colleagues, every time I go to a murder scene, I always see the scene. I seem to see these young people with Nikes on, dead on the ground. Or they got on Nike and handcuffs, dying either on the ground with Nike on, or running up in something trying to get somebody to buy Nike. But your charity's Nike is zero. And you know, we know. Then when we was about to get a plant, some of your Black elected officials, when Nike decided, because we told them, let's just let us make the shoestring, the plastic that goes on the shoestring, to put a factory in the community. They said they agreed. Tony Bogard, rest in peace. You know, his wife Becky, she know. And those people that are the powers that be, that say they speak for us but don't even speak to us, told them no. They want the power. So you got to know what's really going on in the efforts that are made, because efforts are made not to be stopped. You continue. It perpetuates itself. We don't ever stop trying. So when you see these type of situations going on in the world, and you wonder about why activists like myself and several other 100 people aren't where they should be or want to be, it's because we refuse to let go of y'all. I'm not letting go of y'all. Me. I'm not letting go of myself. So we got to be blowing, man. We got to teach people, like, who is General Rosecrans? Who is Heineken's? Who is Coors? Because all these people owe us. Who is O English? Where'd y'all come from? Y'all owe us. Who is the Blunt? Blunt made the four old codgers that owned Blunt 2 years ago, I believe it was, made $187 million profit off of just blunts. But what part of that did they reinvested in the community? Top Ramen, Nason's Foods on Rosecrans and Western. You know how many of my homies done ate millions of Top Ramens? But y'all got cheered. Look at their site. Send them an email. Where is the parity? So you're just going to use us. Top Ramen, I've got friends that have died from eating that high sodium diet for years. Get out of prison and just drop dead. Yeah. But these people don't put back nothing in our community, but their websites represent their culture and their communities. Museums. But we just sit back and let it happen. I don't understand this. Let's call these people to the table. What's going to happen to Crenshaw in a minute? It's starting to look a little different. So we have to be able to separate ourselves in such a way that we're in a Band-Aid position to where we put a Band-Aid on and get our lives to heal up. Because eventually we're just going to be part of the norm. They're done away with. And it's not fair to our babies. We got beautiful babies, man, and it's holiday season. And then we do a lot of stuff during the holidays. We like to eat and drink and be merry. And it's not because we're celebrating the holiday as we know it, but it's celebrating the opportunity to get the perspective of your loved ones and to be kind to someone and to feel the norm and the calm. Because after that comes Black Friday. What a coincidence, the name. After Black Friday comes drama because there's no resources on the streets today. Mr. Biden, the people ain't biting. Gas is biting at them. Food biting at them. Incarceration, police brutality. So you got the whole planet stressed out. Our local police in the neighborhood, by the way, very few of them are black, like literally very few. I've seen 2 black sheriffs on Slauson one day, and I literally pulled over and just stared at them. Because that's something that you don't see. We need law enforcement in our community that's intelligent law enforcement to protect our communities. Not to just serve, but to really protect and empower. Not just coming through because 85% of the people over here is on parole and probation, and 1 out of 3 cars that you stop is going to have a violation. So that makes you a career cop. You really bust somebody, but you didn't find them people tied up in that house. Been there 30 days, them kids. Let's prioritize life right before the planet just spits us out. Because if you continue to do the poor like this, the planet's not going to respond. That's just the bottom line. So stay tuned, and we're going to keep this conversation going. But the young people, man, we got to do something for them, man, to get their attention. Because this is going on in every city around the world. Started in the United States, in Chicago, New Orleans. And now I see North Carolina's off the hook. Now I'm starting to see mothers of murdered children everywhere. Now I'm starting to see chaos and confusion and blatant disrespect, and just people just think that this is really our culture. When it's not our culture, it's oppression. Because we're not breeding those scientists. Look at the difference between TikTok in China and TikTok in the United States. In order to even probably get on TikTok in China, you got to be doing something academic, something that makes people celebrate you. But over here, we teach our young girls to get on TikTok and do things that are detrimental to their safety and their health. So we got to really, really think. Yeah, we're going to talk about all the Kanye stuff and all the Shaqs and, what the basketball players are saying and all that. But remember, they stay in gated communities. We don't. As far as we get in the gated communities and penitentiary. So a lot of these youngsters that you see now that are in getting in trouble because they're financially embarrassed, they're going to be doing 20, 30, 40 years. I told you last week what's going on with that. That them kids right there won't be getting out. No, their parole officer's not even born yet. And to us, it's just nothing. They get a little Beamer, a little truck, a little car, something, and then we lose them for 30, 40 years. They don't have no diplomas or nothing. And we act like nobody wants to hear this. Precisely. First they had us picking the cotton, now they want us to smoke it. And absolutely right. There's nothing wrong with us participating in rituals that are black oriented. Smoking weed and, and making our own wines. I mean, Jesus turned water into wine. But at what point are we going to retrieve our babies back? Or should we just give up? Because no one gave up on me. And if God didn't give up on your ass, you shouldn't give up on nobody. Because we still talking. We alive. So we got to be able to like, yo, check this out, man. So we got to do some different things around here, Playboy. We can't keep having 30,000 kids missing from school systems, foster care, the crystal meth hitting the community like 90 going north, fentanyl knocking us down. Pregnancy, the opposite of pregnancy. Young people riding through traffic right now, 90 miles an hour on the wrong side of the street. We did the same thing. Don't get it twisted. But now it's your responsibility to do something different. So if you're still talking about killing black people and you're a grown man, just remember the next stop on these trains usually be your maker. So you can punk us, no pun intended. But what are you going to tell the creator about your deeds and your actions? How you didn't even try to stop. Especially if you want to get a ball that next side. So this is some real shit, man. A lot of us don't have to care. I'm at that age where I don't have to care. In 2 weeks, I'll be another year older. But what are we going to do for our babies, our nieces and our nephews? There's so many of them out of control to where sometimes it feels like I'm just doing nothing. Like, I wish I could do more. Or the people that could do more, but they're even overwhelmed. And it's the holiday seasons. A lot of little brothers is behind the wall and their families behind the wall. And then the retribution from all the murder and the chaos, it never stops. Because somebody's going to get out or somebody's going to grow up. The young dudes whose uncle you killed when he was 10, he's 30 now. You got to burn him. So be careful what you sign up for. Because time has a strange way of telling all tales. So when you stay on there and you think you're doing something slick out in these streets against your own people for free, then you get older and your conscience starts saying like, wow, man, I done grew up now and God showed me mercy. Whatever you believe in. Then you start wondering why you see people pushing baskets or crazy because you participated in something and it caught up to you because you really wasn't built for that. So you done did all the work and you throwing up the hood and all that. But there's no retirement plan in that, homie. There's no pinstripes, no pensions. There's no family values behind talking to your woman behind the glass. While another fool behind her riding her ass. You call and collect. Don't let them play you like that, youngster. It sounds corny now until you get in front of that judge. Because see, to us, you try to prove to us that you hard. But you got to prove to that district attorney that you a decent human being. And then they play months in the feds. They don't give out years. They give out 600 months, 1,200 months, 3,600 months. And you add it up. So I don't want you to get caught up is what I'm telling you. And yeah, most of my adult audience is adults. I've seen that on the data. But all of these adults got children. And if we share this video and subscribe and then pass it on, somebody might get some game out of it. No, I'm not a celebrity. No, I can't tell you the latest gossip on the celebrities. But I can tell you about that black lady sleeping at that bus stop every night in that cold. That's a crime against humanity. I can tell you about the fact that we got a lot of young people today that should be getting an opportunity and they're not. I can tell you that. I'm gonna walk around, I'm gonna see what's going on with this election, but I'm gonna hold y'all accountable though. City council, city officials, I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna see what you do because my plan is to go to that district that you say you represent and you're gonna have to explain to me what's going on in that alley with this trash? What's going on with this gentrification and this low quality of living that we're experiencing every day? That's what I want to do. I want to talk to you about that because right now you just run around pontificating. And that's not cool. You want us to vote for you, and we will. And no one in particular, but we need to see some results. Because as some other people said in the past, taxation without representation ain't cool. And I'm trying to find this picture. Well, I'll find it for you. But anyhow, this video should be a lot shorter, and I'm not ranting or venting, but I'm factoring. And one of my homegirls is a mortician, and she told me one day, she said, Malik, it's been a lot of young people coming through the mortuary, and they're dying in their sleep. I'm like, what? She said, yeah, gangbanging is not up as much as it used to. But I see a lot of like, for example, a lot of the attractive young brothers. I said, what do you mean? She said, the ones with the tattoos and nice hair, and they have all the girls. And, she said, and they're coming in 4 and 5 deep at a time. She said, they're dying of fentanyl pills. I was like, what? She said, then their mom come in and, they want to bring their football pictures with them smiling as youth and, try to fix them up and stuff. We need to do something about that. And it never seems to bother anyone until it comes to a theater near you. So I ain't really tripping, man. I'm just going to keep throwing content up here and let it stick where it lands. Because the experiences that I got, I have. They're mine. And I've done it with the best of the best, the wealthiest of the wealthiest, and I prefer the poor of the poorest. Because the poor of the poorest is me. I grew up in every project they had in New York City, just so y'all know that. I'm a project baby. Ask around. From Baruch Place all the way down to you name it. My mama was put out every other 30 days. So I'm speaking from experience. From wearing summer clothes, some of my clothes, some of your clothes, some of her clothes. But we got to get to the point where our tax dollars in our face and the respect that they should put on our name is given. We've had enough. No more excuses. When these new elected officials come in, we need to know about your policies and procedures. We need to know about what is in place for us in regards to us being able to maintain our global positioning on this planet. Because right now, y'all got us in a position now where we're going to have a harder time getting out of it. So we're not going to be left out. We've supported everybody in every race and every cause. So now we demand that we get the respect, that we get the hand that we help, because we gave birth to civilization. And this is not a race thing. We don't care about your gender. That's your business. We don't care about that. We have other things to think about, like quality of life and education and remembering our elders during this holiday season. Even if you don't know the older person, go to an old folks home. Just act like you know them. Knock at their door. Cut their grass. Take out the trash. But do something to show that you love yourself. Don't just be in love with somebody else's culture or somebody else's way of thinking or lifestyle and forget about yourself. Because that's what happened. We start personality worshiping on celebrities, and then they crisis and they cry for help. But then when we got to cry for help, it never comes. And most celebrities that I've seen that get in trouble, they either go to court handcuffed in the front, where we go into court handcuffed from the back. Then they come in, 90% of them either start playing sick, dead, blind. Brother Michael Jackson was in his robe, I think pajamas. John Gotti had on his robe. Harvey Weinstein, he couldn't even see. Suge Knight, he came in a wheelchair. Do the math, people. Pay attention. When they get in trouble, they just play sick. We going and talking about we didn't have no father. Of course you didn't. You gave him to us. So it's a different get down, y'all. So we going to get to it before we get through it. Then I'm going to blow it like I go it. But until next time, hit that subscribe button if you can, especially if you want to see somebody else get the information if it don't necessarily pertain to you. And thanks a lot, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Glad they made devices like this, because sometimes you get tired of talking to yourself because you see the conditions of a people that ain't necessarily where they should be. And as time progresses, we'll build up our little studio. We're going to get the little graphics. We're going to come in and laugh at the celebrities, and we're going to talk about the progress. But right now, let's build this foundation. And let's get our babies out the clutches of this system. Hit that subscribe button. Share. Press like if you may. And we good. Never forward, never backwards. What's your story? Everybody has a story. What's yours? I'll be back. Maybe back tonight, because I want to talk about some of this blue face stuff that I'm seeing and some of the other situations that are taking place in our society that need to be addressed, since y'all want to talk about celebrities and their problems. Like I said, in conclusion, they stay in the gated community. Our people do too. The only thing is, they're in Calabasas. We're in Calipatra behind the wall. Peace.